Welcome to the Catbird Quilts. I'm Kathy Martin. We're starting on piecing today from QuiltCon 2024. And guys, unbelievable work in this category. Can't wait for you to see it. This is the piecing category. It's a whole category, which is amazing. You can see immediately why they call it the piecing category. This is Shadow by Scott Cully from Berlin, Germany. And you can see that it is a portrait, but when you get up close, it's kind of phenomenal, actually. It's done by piecing. And so it's all of these tiny little strips and sashing. And what he says in his artist statement is that Shadow delves into human relationships, drawing from my experiences as a child of divorce. It's a meditation on the interplay of expectations and reality. The quilt's captivating patterns comprise over 5,000 pieces crafted via a unique foundation paper piecing process. Yeah. It is really just absolutely stunning. It is a geometric feat. So it's these spirals. And then as he wanted to create the shadow, he added darker pieces to those spirals in various places to create that image. It is just absolutely stunning. We're still in piecing. This is the second place winner. The title is Joy. It's by Whitaker. And he says, in creating this quilt, my goal was to make it as uniquely mine as possible. I designed the pattern from a picture that I took. I included some fabric with prints I designed, pieced and long darn. I named the quilt Joy because that's what I see in her face. It is a celebration of happiness. And it really is a celebration of happiness. It comes through so clearly in all that it's done there. It's like the just absolute joy. So in our piecing category, now we move to the third place winner, which is Vortex Radial by Audrey Esarey, which we've referenced already a couple of times. You can see the influence of circles on her work. She said it represents an evolution of design concept in her Radial quilt series. The high contrast pieced wedges arranged in irregular sweeping arcs are designed to create the optical illusion of a spiraling vortex, resulting in the juxtaposition of both structure and movement. It is even more lovely in person than it is on camera. I wish you guys could be here with us to see it. And it is pieced. It's not applique at all. It is a pieced, huge arcing circles with the contrasting dark and light values and just straight line quilting throughout. This is the piecing category, and it's called Only in Milan by Robert LOWE. And his shortest artist statement ever, it says, inspired by the modern architecture of Mario Cucinella in Milan, Italy. I walked up and saw this and just went, oh. You can absolutely see the inspiration. The colorway is just amazing. It's got this glorious matchstick quilting. It's one of those pieces that it is both interesting and riveting from a distance and then up close just as well. This is HEXIBOR by Jennifer HAYNES from Adliswil, Switzerland. I follow her on Instagram. She's Papper Saxton. And I saw this quilt and was taken with it on Instagram. It could be in the quilting category, but it's in the piecing category. And I think the reason it's in the piecing category is because of her use of color. So she uses this dark and light values to create shadows. And so it's really compelling from a distance. There's some beautiful curved piecing. Her quilting is amazing. It was machine quilted on a long arm frame. And so anyway, it is really such a wonderful mix of light and dark values that create shadows and have this, it's almost like a flower. Well, it's Hexabor. So this is Alien Jungle in the piecing category by Lenny van Eijk. And he says, our lives are interwoven and complex. I really like this quilt because it is so stark. The black and white and grays are really, really a stark contrast. But the weaving in of different colors and the wavy lines, and each block or each row has several different colors. It makes it feel interesting and vibrant, even though it is just such an amazing black and white background, really. He says the black and white background creates depth, while the deliberate placement of colors and values represents an attempt to create order. Preach it, Lenny, in an unpredictable world where we have so little control. So this is Jagged Little Pill by Amy Friend. And if you're familiar with the Alanis Morissette song, you can see where she totally got that from. So it's got these really severe pointed points kind of surrounded by these oval, almost, well, it's encapsulated. That's what that's called. That's called encapsulated. And of course, I couldn't pass up an opportunity. Jagged Little Pill has special meaning for me since I'm a pharmacist. So, but it is amazing piecing. This is Melodeon by Betsy Vinegrad. She said a melodeon is a type of accordion that when played, its bellows open and a geometric pattern is often revealed. And so she responded to a challenge to design a quilt using a block with only 3 lines. She said when blocks are rotated, flipped, and stretched, the possibilities are endless. Simply changing the value in every other column created the illusion of accordion folds. This is Thorns by Birgitta Jadenfelt and from Kvarnum, Sweden. I hope I didn't damage that. Playing around with this sharp curved block, I found that it worked well in a traditional herringbone layout. This particular layout reminds me of thorny bushes. In winter, when the leaves have fallen, the light coming out in small portions. Okay, so this quilt, you know, you see people who put the fire emoji, like, fire, that's fire. This quilt is fire. The low volume whites with the really just crazy vibrant yellows and orange in that curved but thorny herringbone. And then her quilting with the wavy lines back and forth is just really, I need to get a thesaurus so that I can figure out compelling, riveting, engaging. It is really engaging and really, really pretty. And her low volume fabrics at the bottom have more density to their it looks like newspaper. And so it does have that, like it's anchored at the bottom with the darker fabrics. And then it has this lightness at the top that really kind of just pulls your eye in. This is Saturday Night Fever by Summer Rather from Orange, Texas. And she said, it reminds me of the discos in the 70s. It's her take on the dance floor coming alive. And I want to tell you, it comes alive. The quilting in it is so interesting. It actually makes it look like, well, to me, up close, it almost looks like suede because of how textured it is and how much quilting there is, and then the illusion of the piecing. So this isn't the piecing challenge, but there is so much happening here. The grid quilting, the straight line quilting, where it comes together, the white blocks. It looks like you could just reach up and it would feel like suede. So this is called Asteria by Nancy Goff from Lincoln, Nebraska. Nebraskans represent. Asteria is a stellar goddess, beautiful and filled with feminine curves, but like all goddesses, she has thorns. Oh, I love that. It was inspired by the art of British artist Gary Andrew Clark. These curves, it's like peels within peels. She said she has modified the block based on his work. So it's these almost like curved equilateral triangles coming together to create pointed star. Modified the layout and color arrangement. Gosh, the piecing in this is just, and the quilting really reinforces the piecing, which is when you see it so beautifully in the piecing category. So quilting is beautiful, but it echoes the lines of the piecing instead of the reverse. So here in piecing, we're in Fantastic Plastic, and it's by Catherine Butterworth from Australia. She said she's continually drawn to traditional quilt blocks, but she loves to manipulate them and experiment with different layouts. This quilt was hand-pieced using metallic Tyvek, a reflective fabric, and cotton shirting. It was the challenge not to melt the black fabric or leave pinholes in the reflective fabrics during the assembly of this quilt. For extra fun, view this as a flash photo. So imagine that when the flash hits it, what it does is it highlights all of the curves and all of the quilting. There's some amazing quilting on this piece.